Hello, students. We start our lesson by technological foundation of mechanical engineering. And today's theme number 2, types of machine building industry. Write down to you know the theme of our lecture, types of machine building industry. Write down to your notes the plan of our lecture. 2.1 characteristics of a single production. Item 2.2 characteristic of a serial production. And item 2.3 characteristic of mass production. In mechanical engineering, depending on the program of production of products and the nature of the product produced, there are 3 main types of production. Single production, serial production, and mass production. Please write down to you know this scheme where we can see 3 types of production. I repeat, 3 types of production: single production, serial production, and mass production. And before we start item 2.1, I want to show to you the video about what is production system. What is a production system? Production system are those activities of an organization where resources flowing within a defined system are combined and transformed in a controlled manner to add value in accordance to the policies combined by the management. Policies communicated by the management. Characteristics of a production system. Production is an organized activity. To every production system has an objective. The system transforms various inputs to useful outputs. It does not operate in isolation from other organizational systems. This exists a feedback about the activities which is essential to control and improve system performance. Types of production system. Production systems or manufacturing operations may broadly be divided into 2 categories. Make-to-stock production system. Production processes are completed and the product is placed in stock even before a customer order is received. Make-to-order production system. Production process starts only after receiving a customer order. This is because manufacturer cannot anticipate the kind of production. There is yet another type of production system. The third type of production system is one where The company produces standard models and stock them. These models are later on assembled together. According to the specifications of a customer order. This type of production system is assembly to order production system. PVC window assemblers, modular kitchen board assemblers, etc. Production system. The production system of an organization employs more than one kind of production processes. Most prominent production processes usually referred to as its production system. Car manufacturing is a mass production system. The paint shop operates as a batch production process, and the tool room works as a job shop process. Mass production system, batch production system, and job process. Types of production processes. Based on the extent to which a production unit has the flexibility to produce a variety of products. This can be categorized as follows: continuous production system, intermittent production system, continuous production system, flow production system, and mass production system. Intermittent production system is divided by batch production system, job shop production system, project production system. The types of production processes systems are classified on the basis of product output variety and product operation output volume. Among the broadly classified production system, continuous production process, its process of flow production, mass production, intermittent production process, batch production, job shop production, and now we start product output variety. You can see the graph, variety and volume. And there are the types of production processes: intermittent production system and continuous production system. Continuous production system is flow production process and mass production process. Intermittent production system, it's batch production process, job shop production process, and project production process. These may be flow manufacturing system or mass production facilities. These produce high volumes products of the same or very similar kind. These are usually employed by make-to-stock producers. The manufacturing happens in automated plants having special purpose equipments. continuous production process. Some products flow continuously through a linear process. These types of operation are called continuous flow operations or flow shop. Usually the products are not discrete. Continuous flow operations are sometimes also called process type operations, as opposite to discrete operations. Examples are chemical plant, oil and gas, petroleum, refineries, sugar mills, etc. Flow production, where is it used? Dedicated plant and equipment with zero flexibility. Material handling is fully automated. Process follows a predetermined sequence of operations. Component material cannot be readily indefinite with final product. Planning and scheduling is a routine action. Product differentiation is limited. Involves high initial investments. Advantages. Standardization of product and process sequence. Higher rate of production with reduced cycle time. Highest capacity utilization due to line balancing. Manpower is not required for material handling. Person with limited skills can be used for production process. Unit cost is low due to high volume of production and mass production system. Mass production systems are also referred to as repetitive manufacturing systems. Work in progress inventory is low because the items move quickly in the plant. Examples are television, radio, and telephone producers. Products follow the same path. Machine A, machine B, machine C, machine D to machine E, etc. Mass production process. When is it used? Standardization of product and process sequence. Dedicated special purpose machines having high production capacities and output rates, large volume of products, shorter cycle time, lower in process inventory, balanced production lines. Material and parts flow is continuous without backtracking. Production planning and control is easy. Material handling can be completely automatic. And advantage, higher rate of production with reduced cycle time. Higher capacity utilization due to line balancing. Less skilled operators are required. Low process inventory. Manufacturing cost per unit is low. Limitations. Breakdown of one machine may stop entire production line. Line layout needs major change with changes in product design. High investment in production facilities. So flow production process and mass production process, it was continuous production system. And now intermittent production system. The volume of each product is low. Generally, producers make to order custom products in accordance with designs supplied by the customer. Each job may be inquired and may require a special set of production steps. Further, each job may require a particular routing. There are no standard routings. Products may follow different paths. Needs general purpose production equipment. Job shop production process. Its example. Different routers of production. Technological process. It can be different routers. Job shop production process are used in woodworking shops, metal fabrication shops, etc. May require an inventory of a few types of the raw materials, but here the largest percentage of the inventory is work in process WIP. Work in process, job shop production process. When it is used, high variety of production with low volume. Use of general purpose machines and facilities. Highly skilled operators who take up each job as a challenge. Large inventory of materials, tools, and parts. Detailed planning is essential for sequencing of each product, capacities for each work centers, and order priority. Advantages. A large variety of products can be produced with the general purpose machines. Operators become more skilled and competent with each job. Full potential of operators can be utilized. Opportunity exists for creative methods and innovative ideas, and limitations of these types of process. Production planning is complicated. Larger space requirement. Batch manufacturing. Batch manufacturing. Many manufacturing operations fall between job shops and repetitive manufacturing. These are called batch manufacturing. Batch means a single production run. Batch size means the quantity products produced in a single production run. It may be less than 100 units. The batch manufacturing company makes a batch of one product, then may switch over, set up the equipment, and make a batch of another item. Production equipment should be more flexible than repetitive manufacturing and generally less flexible than job shops. Here, products having same or similar processes may be grouped into a product family. Examples: small hand tools, hand mixes. Batch production process. When is it used? There is a shorter production run. Plant and machinery are flexible. Every batch of production requires changes in the plant and machinery setup. Advantages: lower manufacturing lead time and costs as compared to job order production process. Better utilization of plant and machinery. Promotes functional specialization. Lower investment in plant and machinery. Flexibility to accommodate and process number of products. Job satisfaction to operators. Limitations. Material handling is complex. Production planning and control is complex. High setup costs due to frequent change in setups. Inventory is higher than continuous production process. And project production system. A project is a highly flexible and low volume type operation. Usually, the item to be produced stays in a fixed place and all the resources come to it. At the end of production, resources leave the place. Examples are ship construction, bridge construction, buildings and large machines, etc. Project production system. Some types of service operations may also be called as projects. These involve a team of people over a period of time and then the people leave the project. Example: developing a software package may be a project type of service operation. Job shop production process. These are characterized by manufacturing of one or few quantity of products, designed and produced as per the specification of the customer within prefixed time and cost. Batch production process. It is a form of manufacturing in which the job passes through the functional departments in lots or batches, and each lot may have a different routine. Mass production process, manufacture of discrete parts or assemblies using a continuous process is called mass production. Flow process, production system. The production process in which the items are made to flow through the sequence of operations by various devices right from the first operation to the finished product stage is called a flow or process production system. Basis for comparison. Manufacturing cost. Capital investment. Plant, inventory, size of plant, technical requirements, organizational structure. Flexibility of production, types of products produced, material handling equipment usage, security of job to workers, to employers. And it was the last slide of our video about types production, and we continue our presentation. And item 2.1, characteristic of a single production. Single production is characterized by a wide range of manufactured products or repaired products and a small volume of their output. At enterprises with a single creation, they use to a greater external universal equipment located in workshops on a group basis, in other words, divided into sections of tuning, milling, planing, machining, etc. Processing is carried out with a standard cutting tool, and control is carried out with a universal measuring tool. Since the designs of manufactured machines in a single production are unstable and undergo frequent changes, the principles of complete interchangeability are not observed when processing workpieces. Otherwise, a large number of special measuring instruments would be required, the production costs of which are extremely high. Therefore, fitting work is used during assembly. To prevent the creation of defective products, the main metal intensive, expensive parts are made earlier than the cheaper parts mating with them, due to which deviations in the dimensions of the main parts that occur during their processing are compensated. And before we start eating 2.2, I want to show you another video. Video number 2, plant layout.
In this video, I am going to discuss the plant layout. Topics that I have covered in this video are: what is plant layout, objectives of plant layout, and types of plant layout. In part 2, I have explained the types of plant layout in details with the advantages and disadvantages of each type. Let's start the video. What is plant layout? Plant layout means the arrangement of equipment, material, manpower, etc. facilities and services of the plant within the selected work area to achieve the productivity as high as possible. Plant layout starts with building design and goes up to movement of work table and material handling system. Two plants having similar operations may not have identical layout. This may be due to the size of the plant, nature of the process, and management's caliber. Objectives of good plant layout. 1. Bottlenecks and point of congestion are eliminated by line balancing so that material handling and transportation is minimized. 2. Workstations are designed suitably so that movement made by the workers is minimized. 3. Waiting time of the semi-finished products is minimized. 4. Increase the flexibility for changes in product design and future modification. 5. Utilization of cubic space means besides using the floor space, its ceiling height also utilized to accommodate more material in the same space. 6. Improved work methods and reduced production cycle time. 7. To make the workplace safe, ventilated, and free from dust, noise, fume, etc. It leads to satisfaction amongst the workers, and thus employer-employee relations gets better. 8. To increase productivity and better product quality with reduced cost of production. Let's move on to types of plant layout. There are 4 types of plant layout: process layout, production layout, combination layout, fixed position layout. 1. Process layout. In process layout, keep similar machines and similar operations in one place. In other words, machines are arranged according to their function. 2. Product layout. Product layout is also known as line layout. Various operations on raw material are performed in a sequence, and machines are placed accordingly the production flow line. 3. Combination layout. A combination layout combines the advantages of both process layout and product layout. 4. Fixed position layout. In other types of layouts, the product moves past the stationary production equipment, but in a fixed position layout, the product kept stationary and equipment moves around it. Check part 2 of the plant layout in the I button and in the description. If you want to download the PDF, go through the link in the description. You can support my work by
And now we continue our presentation. Item 2.2, characteristic of serial production. And serial production is characterized by a limited range of manufactured products or periodically recurring, repaired batches, and relatively large output. Depending on the number of products in a batch or a series and the value of the coefficient of fixing operations. Small scale or small batch, medium scale, medium batch, large scale, large batch production is distinguished. Write down to your notes types of serial production. First type, it's small batch serial production, medium batch serial production, and large batch serial production. Small scale or small batch, medium scale or medium batch, and large scale or large batch serial production. At serial production, enterprises, a significant part of the equipment consists of universal machines equipped with both special and universal adjustment and universal assembly devices, which makes it possible to reduce labor intensity and reduce the cost of production. It is also possible to place equipment in the process sequence for one or more parts requiring the same processing order while observing the principles of interchangeability in processing. With a small labor intensity of processing or an insufficiently large program for the production of products, it is advisable to process blanks in batches with sequential execution of operations. After processing all the work pieces of blanks of the batch in one operation, process this batch in the next operation. At the same time, the processing time on different machines is not coordinated. The work pieces are stored near the machines during operation and then transported in a whole batch. In serial production, they also use an alternating current forms of work organization. Here, the equipment is also placed during the technological process. Processing is carried out in batches, and the blanks of each batch may differ slightly in size or configurations, but allow processing on the same equipment. In this case, the processing time on adjacent machines is coordinated, so the movement of the work pieces of this batch is carried out continuously in the order of the sequence of the technological process to proceed to the processing of the second batch of parts. The equipment and technological equipment are adjusted. Serialization of production can be characterized by the coefficient of consolidation of operation, fixing of operations. The coefficient of consolidation, C of operations, fixing of operation, is the ratio of the number of all various technological operations performed or to be performed during the months to the number of jobs. For small-scale production, it is from 20 to 40. For medium-scale production or medium batch production, from 10 to 20. For large-scale production, from 1 to 10. Write down to your notes this scheme with the coefficient of consolidation of operations. And before we start item 2.3 about mass production, I want to show you video number 3. Video number 3, manufacturing
Welcome
differ.
to Academic Game Tip. We are going introduction and related topic. Subscribe to this and press the MIDI academic pick. Words, manus, which means hand. Factor is derived pick. What is manufacturing?
What is
The word
manufacturing?
manufacture is derived from two Latin words, manus, which means hand, and factus, which means to make. The combination means made by hand. The English word manufacture is several centuries old, and made by hand accurately described the manual methods used when the word was first coined. Most modern manufacturing is accomplished by automated and computer-controlled machinery. So, how can we define manufacturing? As a field of study in the modern context, manufacturing can be defined two ways, one technologic and the other economic. Technologically, manufacturing is the application of physical and chemical processes to alter the geometry, properties, and appearance of a given starting material to make parts or products. Manufacturing also includes assembly of multiple parts to make products. The processes to accomplish manufacturing involve a combination of machinery, tools, power, and labor, as depicted in Figure A. Manufacturing is almost always carried out as a sequence of operations. Each operation brings the material closer to the desired final state. Economically, manufacturing is the transformation of materials into items of greater value by means of one or more processing and assembly operations, as depicted in Figure B. The key point is that manufacturing adds value to the material by changing its shape or properties, or by combining it with other materials that have been similarly altered. The material has been made more valuable through the manufacturing operations performed on it. When iron ore is converted into steel, value is added. When sand is transformed into glass, value is added. When petroleum is refined into plastic, value is added. And when plastic is molded into the complex geometry of a patio chair, it is made even more valuable. The words manufacturing and production are often used interchangeably, but the term production might have a broader meaning than manufacturing. To illustrate, one might speak of crude oil production, but the phrase crude oil manufacturing seems out of place. Yet when used in the context of products such as metal parts or automobiles, either word seems okay. So, we have studied how we can define manufacturing from both technological and economical point of views. Thank you.
Next video, manufacturing capability.
Welcome to About Subscribe. We come to make manufacturing plant consists of a set of processes and systems, and people, of course, designed to transform a certain limited range of materials into products of increased value. These three building blocks, materials, processes, and systems, constitute the subject of modern manufacturing. There is a strong interdependence among these factors. A company engaged in manufacturing cannot do everything. It must do only certain things, and it must do those things well. Manufacturing capability refers to the scope of technical and physical capabilities and limitations of a manufacturing company and each of its plants. Manufacturing capability has three dimensions. 1. Technological process and capability. 2. Physical size and weight of product. And 3. Production capacity. Technological process and capability. The technological processing capability of a plant or company is its available set of manufacturing processes. Certain plants perform machining operations, others roll steel billets into sheet stock, and others build automobiles. A machine shop cannot roll steel, and a rolling mill cannot build cars. The underlying feature that distinguishes these plants is the processes they can perform. Technological processing capability is closely related to material type. Certain manufacturing processes are suited to certain materials, whereas other processes are suited to other materials. By specializing in a certain process or group of processes, the plant is simultaneously specializing in certain material types. Technological processing capability includes not only the physical processes, but also the expertise possessed by plant personnel in these processing technologies. Companies must concentrate on the design and manufacture of products that are compatible with their technological processing capability. Physical product limitations. A second aspect of manufacturing capability is imposed by the physical product. A plant with a given set of processes is limited in terms of the size and weight of the products that can be accommodated. Large, heavy products are difficult to move. To move these products about, the plant must be equipped with cranes of the required load capacity. Smaller parts and products made in large quantities can be moved by conveyor or other means. The limitation on product size and weight extends to the physical capacity of the manufacturing equipment as well. Production machines come in different sizes. Larger machines must be used to process larger parts. The production and material handling equipment must be planned for products that lie within a certain size and weight range. Production capacity. A third limitation on a plant's manufacturing capability is the production quantity that can be produced in a given time period. Let's take a month or year. This quantity limitation is commonly called plant capacity or production capacity, defined as the maximum rate of production that a plant can achieve under assumed operating conditions. The operating conditions refer to number of shifts per week, hours per shift, direct labor manning levels in the plant, and so on. These factors represent inputs to the manufacturing plant. Given these inputs, how much output can the factory produce? Plant capacity is usually measured in terms of output units, such as annual tons of steel produced by a steel mill or number of cars produced by a final assembly plant. In these cases, the outputs are homogeneous. In cases in which the output units are not homogeneous, other factors may be more appropriate measures, such as available labor hours of productive capacity in a machine shop that produces a variety of parts. Materials, processes, and systems are the basic building blocks of manufacturing and the three broad subject areas of our discussion in manufacturing processes. So, we have studied in details about manufacturing capability. Thank you.
And item 2.3. Characteristics of mass production. Mass production is characterized by a narrow range and a large output of products that are continuously produced or repaired for a long time. The coefficient of consolidation of operations in this type of production is taken equal to 1. Mass production is also characterized by a stable production facility which, with a significant volume of output, makes it possible to assign operations to certain equipment with its location in the technological sequence downstream and with the widespread use of specialized special equipment. Mechanization and automation of production processes with strict observance of the principles of interchangeability, providing a sharp reduction in the labor intensity of assembly work. The highest form of mass production is continuous flow production, when the duration of all operations on the technological line is equal to multiply, which allows processing without backlogs in strictly defined time intervals. The time interval during which products of a certain name, size, and design are periodically produced is called the production cycle and is calculated according to the formula. You can see this formula on the slide. T is equal F multiplied by 60 divided by P. Where in this formula, T is a cycle in minutes. F is the effective fund of the production time of the workplaces, section of workshops in hours. And P is the annual program for the release of a workplace section or workshop in pieces. To perform operations, the duration of which does not fit into the established rhythm of the release, use additional equipment. With a continuous flow, the transfer from position to position workplace is carried out continuously in a mandatory order, which ensures the parallel simultaneous execution of all operations on the technological line. And before you start to read check questions, the last video that I want to show for today. Types of production system.
Production, mass production, batch production, and job shop production. So, let's start by defining continuous production system or continuous manufacturing system. These are also referred to as repetitive manufacturing systems. In other words, these are the mass production facilities that produce high volumes of the same products. So, in this case, manufacturing happens in automated and special purpose equipments. For example, petrochemical, cement, steel, sugar and fertilizer industries, etc. uses continuous production systems. Now, let's have a look at the classifications of continuous production systems. Number 1. Process or continuous flow production. In continuous flow production, most of the work is done by machines rather than humans. In this type of production process, the production is continuous, 24 hours, 7 days a week, all days in a year. Here, usually there is very small variation in the products, and the same type of products flow continuously through a linear process. The process production system, or the continuous flow production system, is used in oil and gas refineries, petroleum refineries, also used in chemical processing, where production is required continuously, day and night, all over the year. Another type of continuous production process is mass production. There is a lot of confusion between mass production and continuous production. It can be differentiated by the amount of mechanical work involved. In mass production, both machines and humans work together. However, in continuous production, most of the work is done by machines rather than humans. In continuous production, the production is continuous, 24/7 hours, all days in a year. So, mass production, also known as flow production or inline production, is the production system where the production can be broken down to small repetitive continuous tasks. So, it can be used when many identical or similar type of products are to be produced using machines and semi-skilled workforce. The products are assembled as they flow along a production line. The operators tend to be semi-skilled. Cheaper identical products, such as cars, washing machines, and fridges, are produced in comparatively larger volumes in the mass production system. So, these are the two types of production or manufacturing processes that fall under the continuous manufacturing system. Now, let's discuss about the intermittent production systems. These are the non-continuous production systems. So, production or manufacturing takes place in discrete batches or groups rather than flowing continuously. Intermittent means something that starts or initiates and stops or halts at irregular or unfixed intervals or time gaps. In the intermittent production system, goods are produced based on customers' orders. Large varieties of products are produced, and these products are of different sizes. The design of these products goes on changing, so the system also keeps changing according to the design and size of the product. Therefore, this system is very flexible. Here, goods are produced on a small scale. Now, the non-continuous or intermittent production systems can be broadly classified into three types. Number 1, batch production. Number 2, job shop production. And number 3, project production. First, let's talk about batch production. In batch production flows, the production of items takes place in lots or groups or batches. All the jobs of one batch of production must be completed before starting the next batch of production. Examples of batch production include manufacturing of drugs and pharmaceuticals and chemicals. So, in batch production, medium-sized batches of similar types of products are made batch by batch. That is, production of one batch ends in a single run of the machine, then the next batch goes into the production line when the previous batch has taken exit. Then, another type of intermittent production system is the job shop production. A job shop is a type of production system in which a small amount of a variety of products are produced. In a job shop, each item has their own processing route and takes different paths. In simpler words, non-standardized products of high variety or different types are produced in low volume in a job shop production system. Take, for example, 100 units of green-colored bottles, 150 units of black-colored bottles, and 100 units of white-colored bottles are running through production at the same time at separate production lines within the same production facility or factory, so that the finished bottles of 3 different colors are obtained separately from the 3 production lines simultaneously. This is an example of job shop production system producing small volumes of different types of products in separate production lines. Now, the last type of production system we are going to talk about today is the project production. This is a product or service-based production system where a company accepts a single, complex, and large contract in the form of a project at a time. The order must be completed within a given period of time and at an estimated cost. Some examples of project production system mainly include construction of airports, dams, roads, buildings, shipbuilding, building mass rapid transportation systems, movie production companies, drilling oil wells, etc. So, let's take a quick look at what we learned in this whole class. At first, we classified the production systems based on the product variety and product volume. So, at first we've discussed about process production or continuous flow production, where production keeps running continuously 24/7 all round the year. This process mainly uses automated machineries designed for doing one particular kind of job. So, very high volume of very low variety of product are made through this process. That means continuous flow production produces similar products in huge quantities. Examples include petrochemical refineries, edible oil refineries, steel making, paper making, beer brewing, etc. Then we've studied mass production, which is also known as flow production or inline production. In this case, low variety of product is produced in high volume. Along with automated machineries, human hand is also required throughout most part of the mass manufacturing process. Take, for example, mass production of 500 shirts. At first, fabric is cut for all the shirts at a time continuously, then the cut fabrics are passed through the sewing line, all one after another continuously. So, the mass production job of shirts has been divided into small continuous processes to obtain the final finished shirt. Some more examples of mass production are seen in automobile plants, food processes, beer bottling, etc. These two types of production processes were discussed under continuous production process. After that, we've discussed batch production, in which components or goods are produced in groups or batches, and 100 units of time lines within the same production facility or factory, so that the finished bottles of 3 different colors are obtained separately from the 3 production lines simultaneously. This is an example of job shop production system, producing small volumes of different types of products in separate production lines. Now, the last type of production system we are going to talk about today is the project production. This is a product or service-based production system where a company accepts a single component, the order within a given period of time and at an estimated cost. Some examples of project production system mainly include construction of airports, dams, roads, buildings, shipbuilding, building mass rapid transportation systems, movie production companies, drilling oil wells, etc. So, let's take a quick look at what we learned in this whole class. At first, we've classified the production systems based on the product variety and product volume. So, at first we've discussed about process production or continuous flow production, where production keeps running continuously 24/7 all round the year. This process mainly uses automated machineries designed for doing one particular kind of job. So, very high volume of very low variety of product are made through this process. That means continuous flow production produces similar products in huge quantities. Examples include petrochemical refineries, edible oil refineries, steel making, paper making, beer brewing, etc. Then we've studied mass production, which is also known as flow production or inline production. In this case, low variety of product is produced in high volume. Along with automated machineries, human hand is also required throughout most part of the mass manufacturing process. Take, for example, mass production of 500 shirts. At first, fabric is cut for all the shirts at a time continuously, then the cut fabrics are passed through the sewing line, all one after another continuously. So, the mass production job of shirts has been divided into small continuous processes to obtain the final finished shirt. Some more examples of mass production are seen in automobile plants, food processes, beer bottling, etc. These two types of production processes were discussed under continuous production process. After that, we've discussed batch production, in which components or goods are produced in groups or batches. In batch production, products are produced in medium variety and medium quantity. Examples include production of drugs and pharmaceuticals, chemicals, etc. Then, we've studied job shop production, in which a small amount of a variety of products are produced. Examples include painting shops, machine tool shops, etc. And, at last we've learned about project production process, where a company accepts a single, complex, and large contract in the form of a project and is to complete the order within a specified time interval. Examples include construction of airports, dams, roads, buildings, shipbuilding, etc. These 3 production processes were discussed under intermittent or non-continuous production processes. Thank you.
And now you can see the check questions. Use all these questions when you will be prepared for the next lecture. Now our time is finished. The lecture number 2 is finished too. See you later. Goodbye. Be careful. Have a nice day. Goodbye.